Hey guys, I'm in a rental. I really don't know if I posted about my putting my car in the shop. I think I did. I don't know if it was a short or a long form video. If I did, regardless, I'm in a rental. My car's in the shop. So I just did a delivery around the corner, and we're at the corner of Everhart and Johnson, right there, the blue just above the fence line. That is my house. Now, when I lived here, I was being harassed so severely by the Corpus Christi Police Department that I told Chocolate Curls that they were making me feel suicidal. And he called someone, he did something, and it stopped. And this is one of two attorneys that I'm going to have testify. I'm going to offer him money to testify on my behalf. And also Joe Serio, but that's kind of iffy because we don't really know how involved Joe Serio is or is not. Because when I told him about John Graham raping my daughter, he did not respond. And I can understand from a legal standpoint, but I just don't know why someone would not respond to something like that. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence. But hindsight is 2020, and I've made like 2 or 3 of these videos. I just want to make another one because hindsight is 2020 once again. Now, when I lived here, I was documenting thoroughly. There's a 2-story house. There's my house that is in the blue. Right behind it, you'll see a second roof, and then you will see the second floor of a 2-story that's a lighter baby bluish type color. When I lived here, there was somebody that was die-hard returned military. I'm almost 100% positive that person was involved. We would have to look back at the history of who owned that house and who lived there. Now, also right across the street, if the people that live there now lived there at the time that I did, I caught a little bit of heat from them when I was moving out. I remember one of the guys was like, "What happened?" When I was moving out. So that's kind of strange. It makes me wonder, if they're first responder affiliated and if they partook in the harassment. And most importantly, Elias Flores, the then boyfriend of Salome, the owner, you can look up their information online. Did he want the house that he had his son or somebody he used to work with harass me to get me out of the house? That is the most logical explanation. However, I will say that the same techniques were utilized. It could also be both in conjunction. It could be one or the other, or of course I could be completely way off. So I do know that when I was there, they would go in while we were asleep. I would hear them walking around. And if you say to yourself, there is no way you're going to let somebody walk around your house without freaking out, screaming, dialing 911. I was being harassed so severely by the Corpus Christi Police Department because I knew that they were involved, okay? Not just the Corpus Christi Police Department, Corpus Christi Fire Department, Reserves, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. These are individuals that happen to hold positions of power, and they utilize their resources. Now, I knew since 1006 Woodlawn, I knew it was returned military. Now, given the severity of the harassment I experienced at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, I could not put two and two together at the time. It is obvious it was students, colleagues, it just all fits together. Throughout the years of my taking notes of different things, we figured out how it's being done, and we know who is doing it. So we are in a new chapter. I would say this is volume 3 of a trilogy. This is the end. This is legal action. So, what am I going to ask for? Realistically, looking at settlements across the nation for a multitude of reasons, I feel this is worth $50 million. It doesn't really fit with anything that has ever happened before. There's no precedent set to where I would receive $50 million. But it's gonna be a pretty penny, and of course I will have to sign an NDA because the city's gonna want to save face, and that is if I do not meet an untimely end prior to this. It's not like individuals have not tried with the cooperation of a multitude of city employees. So that tells me there's big money behind this. Now, sure, John Graham is using his influence. He doesn't have that much influence. He can't start gas leaks at multiple apartments and erase all evidence, erase the proof. So, somebody has a lot to lose, and it is somebody that has been present since the Redwood Address, that is still in a position of power, somebody with a serious relationship to John Graham, such as Patrick McMenemy and John Morris. So I'm going to cut this short today. Well, this is a long ass video. I do not like long form videos. I love long form videos. I don't like how I don't get any views, but this is for documentation purposes. And, I'll make a few shorts later on. I'm just catching up. So I will talk to you guys later.